I rather have tried and known rather than not tried and not known. Today in B-Town Reddit stories. Men who have had crushes on your female best friend, what did you do? Told her, avoided her for a little while because she wasn't into me, now we still talk but not as close as before. We're still very good friends though. Despite what people say, it's perfectly okay to take some distance after being rejected so you can get over it. Asked her out, she responded, we've been friends since high school, how have you not realized I'm into women? Edit, common question I'm being asked is how I didn't know she was gay. Well, we grew up in religious Catholic families and we even went to the same church as well as religious education, probably why she never told anyone until college. Not to mention I was a complete doofus and just never picked up on any subtle clues she may have left. Funny memory from a long time ago. Asked her out. She said no. A month later she asked me out. We've been married 20 years now. She was coming off a 3-year relationship. She told me she wanted to be sure and needed some time to process her recent breakup. She said she was interested when I initially asked but wanted a little distance to figure things out. We were pretty close, talked daily, and had a ton in common, so I think she made the right choice. Reply: I had a similar situation with my best friend, now boyfriend. I hadn't pictured us dating before he told me he had feelings for me, so I had a hard time seeing him that way. Afterwards, I started looking at him differently though and noticed a gradual change in my own feelings. I didn't have feelings for a long time, then I suddenly did. I told her, she didn't feel the same, so I just moved on. It was awkward for a couple weeks, but then I got a girlfriend and we were back to normal. I finally told her how I felt but that I was not going to do anything to screw up our friendship because I treasured that most. Turns out she felt the same way and we have now been together 26 years. We are still best friends and our love for each other has only grown. Sometimes you just have to follow your heart. I had a girlfriend and she had a boyfriend, so I ignored it as much as possible. In retrospect, that was definitely a good move. I tried to tell her, but I did it in a very spurgy way and ended up ruining our friendship. We haven't spoken in almost a decade now. Reply: same. I came on way too strong, did this whole confession and put her under too much pressure. We were both young at the time and not very mature. I stuck around after the rejection in hopes that she would change her mind. I know, stupid, and after a few months she told me to leave her alone. Never spoke to her again. It stung like hell for a little while but turned out a clean break was exactly what I needed to move on. I dated her for 3 years. It just happened. We started ducking after a night of drinking. Kept it a secret for about a month. We were hiding it from our group of friends, we didn't want it to be weird. Not sure why we did, but when we stopped hiding people would say they already knew or had an idea. Reply: yeah, people get that ideas even when you don't duck with your BFF. I have a BFF that we are very close, but we totally do not feel any sexual attraction towards each other, and people keep coming with those conclusions that we just have to duck daily or something. Everyone was shocked when we both finally found our loved ones. Our friends were like, but what happened? You're no longer together. Are you doing it two fronts? Wow, I didn't think you would break up despite us being always clear that we are BFFs. I married her. But that's the exception, not the rule. It helped to have some mutual friends to reinforce that she definitely felt the same way. For the most part, do what the top comment says and keep your damn full mouths shut. And don't bitch about the friend zone, just be a friend. If you can't do that, you gotta put some distance until you can. If you want to support our new channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We would also love to read some feedback in the comments. Thank you very much. I told her. She reciprocated. We confessed to being in love with one another. It was amazing for the first few months. I thought it was the romantic tale of my lifetime. Best sex of my life, the communication was unbelievable. No one had ever made me feel like that in a relationship in my life. It felt like a dream. Then slowly but surely who she was became pretty clear. She wasn't even the person she pretended to be as my friend, honestly. I was in denial about it for a little while, including when she suddenly ended things with me out of nowhere to return to her ex. When I say sudden, I mean literally in the same day, going from I love you and painting vivid pictures of our future to just ending things and bailing. She then proceeded to try to weirdly string me along, telling me she still loved me, that maybe we'd have our time in the future. Turns out she lies about so much there's really no saying if any of it was real, including the friendship. It was quite honestly the most traumatic romantic experience of my life by far. She's definitely a cluster B personality disorder of some type, probably a covert narcissist. We were friends for years before this, but there had always been some unspoken attraction. In retrospect, knowing what I know now, there were some red flags, but I just didn't know people were capable of this level of dishonesty in their lives. All that said, I'm glad I said something and pursued regardless of how much emotional confusion and trauma she put me through, because now I know and am not stuck with what if. While there are some happy ending stories here and some nothing changed stories, there will also be the risk the girl gets weirded out by you revealing you want to spend more time with her and not just as a friend, and will go aloof on you. You have to weigh up how valuable the friendship is, but also consider how solid are those always are from her beforehand. I to this day have done nothing, and the crush has been fading ever since. I first realized it like 3 years ago. I'll actually visit her for a week in a few days, since she moved to a different city after we finished school. I know that she is in general not interested in boys, so I never acted on my crush. Can't say I regret my choices too much. From a woman's perspective, unless you're okay with just being friends, be very careful. I've seen this end horribly for everyone involved. I would be straightforward and tell her you have feelings. Ask her if she'd like to go on date, try to have something fun in mind already. Make it clear that if she doesn't have feelings, you'd like to remain friends. If she says no, drop it and don't try to reignite it later. I say this because sometimes things get weird for a little. Well, in my case we became best friends after we dated and she dumped me. We didn't work well together and I wasn't mature enough yet for an actual relationship. Now she's just another bro to me. I regret the way it ended. I was being a total D-head to her at the time. It might not have been important that we dated, but it has helped later in life because she knows what I struggle with and vice versa. Said nothing for 6 years because our friendship was important to me. Then she told me, and now we've been married 4 years with one daughter in the prime of the terrible twos. I asked her out. I prefaced even if she says no, I don't want her out of my life / I'm cool with staying friends, so she admitted she wasn't ready to date anybody. Then I kept my word, like I told her a date is just a test for long-term compatibility, and if it didn't have a spark, then worst case we go back to normal. Poor girl was more distraught about the entire thing than I was. She texted me at 2 a.m. over apologizing about it, calling me sweet etc., but I reassured her we were good. Next day our chemistry didn't change at all, and none of our mutual friends even knew about it until months later when me / her joked about the entire thing. She recently got married this year and she invited me / I truly am happy for her. The dude seems like an honest person I trust will be good to her. We've called each other recently, checking in through the pandemic etc., and I think I'll call her this weekend since she recently moved. 10 years friends, then 2 years dating, now married. Best decision we ever made. Best thing that happened in my life. I didn't realize the feelings were a crush at the time. I dated her best friend for 2 years, got engaged to another woman she hated, called her when my engagement fell at the same time her boyfriend left her, and then we confessed our love for each other. We're now married. With children on the way. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.